Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. Today we're making almond buns and they're for breakfast. We're going to have to warm up, well I'm not, but you will need half a cup of warm milk. That's just taking the chill off of it. I'm only going to warm up a fourth and add another fourth, which will be my discard culture to go with mine. So just take the chill off your milk and we'll get this started. I'm going to need this bowl later. We will be working with the mixer this time. So this bread's going to be made a little different. I'll get you over here in a bit. Okay, well, I told you I'd get you over here. You just have to give me a little bit of time. Okay, now I'm going to go get the milk and I'll be right back. Let's see if I can get you higher. I have the dishes there, that's what it is. I have dishes right behind you. But I want you to see what I'm doing in this mixer, so I have to set it a little different. We are going to put in here, we're going to put a stick of butter that is softened. And this is not the bread paddle. They want this paddle for this. Though these are buns we're making, we're doing this a little different. We will move to the other side. We just can't move to the other side right now till we get this part done. How much sugar? 2 tablespoons. Okay, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar to this. Now, they want you to add, I should just have you looking at me right now, is they want you to put the milk and the yeast separately in a small bowl. Remember, I'm using my discard culture as part of this, so mine's going to be a little different. If you have a sourdough culture and you have the discard, I'm using 1/4 milk to 1/4 discard together. But if you don't have it, you need a half a cup of warm milk. And into that, you're going to add a package of yeast into your milk. Just 1.5. Stir this, and we're going to let this sit for a bit. Okay, so we've got the yeast in that back over here. I know we're going to be going back and forth for a while. All right, we have to mix our flour and salt together. So we're going to put it in our mixing bowl that we need. So we need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. This is the sugar setting. And I'm going to add a 1/2 cup. Instead of using 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, I'm using 2 cups of all-purpose, and I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour, which will give it a light wheat texture but won't affect the flavor. And for salt, we need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we're going to mix. They want you to mix this up. Then we'll go back to the mixer again. I know you're going to get dizzy because I'm taking you all over the place. And another spoon. I'm going to have to buy more wooden spoons. I never have enough. And my old ones I've had like 40, 50 years are finally starting to break after many years. Okay, you're also going to need an egg. All right, you ready for this next spin? I'm spinning you all over the place. I am so sorry. Okay, they want us to beat this sugar and stuff together. I've got the yeast sitting here doing what it does naturally. Let's see if I can get you here. They want to beat this at medium speed. I went to make this yesterday. I did not get around to it yesterday. I was just so, my day was just ending too fast. What you're doing is beating it till it's light and fluffy. And you can see it. It's really blended well. You're going to pour your yeast milk in. I have to stop it for a bit. You want to make sure that you mix this thoroughly. That's why you had a soft stick of butter, to make sure all this blends very well. Beat in this egg. 1 egg. Well, they do want this at medium speed. That's why I'm doing it at medium speed. Now they want you to turn it down, and you're going to start adding the flour at low speed. And they want you to do 1/2 cup at a time. Becoming a dough now. Almond buns.
Almond what?
Almond buns. Always turn off before you drop it. I have my days. Okay, now we're headed back over here. Now they want us to knead this. They said use more flour if you need it. Put it onto the counter. Or in your work area. I'm using the counter, so that's why I keep saying counter, but some people have a big board they work on. Some people work on the table. My mother was quick to use the table all the time. She didn't have a big kitchen, so I should say the work area. How much flour? They didn't tell me. They just said add a little. So that's what we'll do. And we'll see how this comes out. I'll be right back. I think I put, what, 2 tablespoons and that's it. But the dough is a very nice dough. And these instructions aren't explicit about a few things. So I have to figure out what they want. But at least you'll get the recipe down. Now, will the culture discard interfere with this? No, every time I use it, everything is so moist. It doesn't dry out. Biscuits stay moist longer. Everything has a nice texture, and you have this slight, so little tang to it. If you're unaccustomed to sourdoughs, you will taste it. For people who use a lot of sourdough, you're not going to really taste it. And as far as you're concerned, if you have bread without it, the bread's going to be flat. So it's, you know, it's just if you use it or not. They want us to knead this about 10 minutes. Well, I'm just going to knead it till it gets to that point. Now the mixer did a lot of the beating up because yeast gets excited when you work it hard. James Beard had a bread, and I had his recipe, and he said throw it on the counter. And I told you that story. My husband came and said, look, if you're angry, there's no reason. But I said, it's the recipe. It's right there. That's what it told me to do. So I woke him up out of a sound sleep. And he said, what was your problem? I didn't have a problem. I was just following the recipe. You know, for all you know, they use a culture discard on breads and call it sourdough when it's not really sourdough. Just taking a shortcut, and you think you're getting sourdough. Because when you make sourdough bread, it has a very distinct flavor, and it does stand out. This is really working out quite well. Recipes used not to say 10 minutes. They used to state smooth and elastic. I guess people don't know what smooth and elastic look like. That's called smooth and elastic, to give you an idea of what it looks like. Now I have my bowl here where I had the flour in it, and I'm going to, the flour, you know, with the flour and the salt. Now what I'm going to do is put some oil in this. We're going to grease the inside of this. Put it upside down, grease it, flip it right side, like that. We're going to put some towels over it, and we're going to let this rise. I'm putting 2 heavy towels on. It's a bit chilly in the kitchen. Now, if you have a cool kitchen, it's not going to rise in the time that they state. Understand that, and it needs more time. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just is the temperature. Because when I make bread in the winter, believe you me, I have to wait for it. Oh my God! Sometimes I just don't think it's ever going to get up there, and then it finally gets up there. But in the summer, if they say 30 minutes, 30 minutes might be too long. So you have to learn to judge it, to look at it and say it's doubled, okay. But that's something you have to worry about when you work with breads. If it's chilly in your kitchen, it's going to take longer for it to rise. If it's hot in your kitchen, it might be, you might have to shorten the time of the rising. So learn to adjust according to the weather in your kitchen. I should say the temperature in your kitchen. If I'm doing a lot of baking and it's in the winter, believe you me, it'll rise faster. But if I don't, and I start it in the morning, the kitchen is cold, it's not going to be done on that first rise to get it up double. Sometimes it takes hours till it gets there, until the kitchen gets warm. So always remember that. Now I'll go and I'll be back after that rises. Okay, we're getting ready to make the filling. You're going to need almond paste, and they say orange marmalade, but I don't have an orange marmalade. I have an orange lemon marmalade, so I'm going to use the orange lemon marmalade, and I am going to need so they want 3 tablespoons of each. So I'll show you. God, I canned this a couple of years ago. Don't worry, we're gonna mix it all up. And yes, I did can this. This is my handiwork. And it's still good. I love the variety when you can. You have canning books and stuff. You buy the canning unit. Oh my God. So many things you can make, and the combinations you can make are unbelievable. I went to look for pig's feet so I could cook them down and see if I can make a clear gelatin with it. But I'm gonna have to put this in a jar in the refrigerator. I think this, yeah, it's a paste. I have to cut this open. If I can't get it turned around, I'm gonna cut it open. I know the tricks of opening these things a specific way, but it's not going to allow me to do it. So I'm going to have to get a canning jar, I think, when I open this. Stick it in a canning jar and put it in the refrigerator. Still doesn't want to open. Yep, you're going to need a canning jar for this. I had to put it away to keep it fresh, I guess. I want 3 tablespoons of this, and I'm going to make this work right. Oh God, those almonds. I've never used this. This is the first recipe in all the cookbooks I have that actually calls for this. I have never, ever used it. But I bet you the new cookbooks I do. Oh my God, I found a stuffed bell pepper. It's not beef and it's not buffalo. So I can't wait to try this one. I definitely gotta get everything and make that one. I was reading it, I said, oh God, this sounds so good. See, a lot of people buy cookbooks, but they read them, but they don't do it. I haven't gone through half my cookbooks. My husband was always ordering cookbooks for me. I need a jar to put this in. Give me a minute, I have to go get one. See, the reason I'm not going to keep it in the box here, because it's going to dry out. I have to force it in this bottle, I'm going to do it. Like I said. This is to keep it fresher, longer. But I'll read the box, what else they want me to do with it. That's the first time I ever bought it. Yeah. The fork is not going to mix this up. Now you see right now the problem I'm going to have. So they want you to mix this thoroughly. So I figured instead of putting it in a blender or something, I'm just going to use my hands and mash all this together and make it work. If it doesn't, I'll definitely go into a blender. But women used to mix with their hands. Today everybody said, oh, you can't do that, you can't do that. Man, I still use my hands. I'm cooking for somebody else, not my family. It's different. I'm cooking for my family. I would definitely use my hands. See how it comes together? Okay, I think I mixed that pretty good. That's going to go back there. This is going to go here. Everything's sticky, yes I do. But we are going to take care of the dough that's been rising. Now they're not telling me how wide to do this. They just say you're going to cut 16 of these out. I said, well, what size do you want? So there's some parts that are missing. This is where you have to figure it out. Do grease a baking sheet. You're going to need it. I have this one already greased. They do recommend, they want you to roll this out into a rectangle. We do not know what size. I'm assuming these things might be 2 inches, 3 inches, something like that. I have no idea. But they do tell you you gotta roll it out to 1/4 inch. And as you can see, it's risen. My husband bought me a new rolling pin before he passed away. He still uses mother's. Rolling pins, just, they're sort of like cast iron. They just don't die unless you go out of your way. Do you know women use these on children and their husbands? I'm sure that hurt the backside a lot. Okay, so I don't know how big this is going to be. I cannot give you a measurement yet until I start getting this thing to work. I wish she had given us a size, but she didn't. Now this has to be in a rectangle. So we're going to be working towards a rectangle. Once we get this, get it as thin as it's supposed to be, then we will check for the size of these things. These buns are going to be. Okay, that's 1/3, so they want it a little thinner. Then we'll measure it, and then we'll know what we're going to do. Okay, that's 1/4. So we're talking about something, let me see if this is 1/4. Okay. No, we got 1/4, all right. It's going to be approximately 9 inches by 16. 9 by 16 is pretty much what you're going to be doing. Now they want us to make 16 of these. So we're going to go down the middle of this. All right. What do I need? My cutter. Pizza cutter would be very nice. Pizza cutters are great when you have to do this. Now we're talking 9 inches here. Half of 9 is 4 1/2. So you make a marking. See how you're doing it? It's very easy to do. I'll show you. Might as well show you how it's done. Alright, now we have 16. Now they want to make 16, so we need 8 on each one of these sides. I don't know if I'm going to get that. So we'll go 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 12, 13, 14. That gives me 14. You know what? I'm just going to make 14 of these. I'm not, because I have to go into like 1.5, 1 3/4. So I'm just going to make them 2 inches. Okay? I'm just going to mark them 2 inches. It's just easier. Okay. Okay. So we mark this one. I should be able to do each one of these. Okay, so that gives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 16. Now you need a teaspoon. I need you pushed out some. The ends are going to be harder to work with, but they want you to put 1 teaspoon into the middle of these things. Yes, I know it's going to be difficult. Like they said, put it right into the middle. That's what I'm trying to do. The reason I haven't touched the ends yet, because they're not quite the shape they should be, so I'm going to have to work on those so I can get it in properly. that we ate all my orange marmalade, so I have to sit there and just do the best I can with what I have. But orange lemon should be very nice with almond. Now, what do you want me to do? I'm going to have to fill these on the ends here, is what I have to do. And I'm going to have to start on one side. What they want you to do is to fold these over, roll them just like that. Say pinch the seams. And they want you to roll them like that, okay? Just make sure you pinch the seams. That's what I'm still doing, because it'll roll out. That's why you want to pinch the seams and roll it. And put seam side down. You're going to say, how am I going to do it? I don't know. I'm doing it the best way I can. But because it's a yeast, you can stretch it. That's the only good thing about it. Now, if you don't pinch these seams, everything you've made is going to come rolling out. That's why they're definitely stressing you to make sure you pinch those seams. They'll cook together, but you have to pinch and make sure the filling stays in there. And as they heat up and cook, the filling will melt and then it will spread out. I think I can do this part without my glasses now. I actually push the filling in so I can roll these. If you know what I'm doing, I'm actually pushing it in to the dough right before I meet the other end up, so they're sealed in. So before I pinch these seams, I push this in to make sure it's going to be in there. So when I roll it, I can bring this over and pinch it. Sometimes all the pinching you do does not work, but don't get discouraged about it. If you don't do it, you'll never learn. You've got to try. Now, if you didn't know it, 3 almonds a day by the readings at the ARE say they prevent cancer. There's something in the almonds that prevent cancer. They're now finding out vitamin C is really good when it works with antibiotics, but not the citrus. Not the ascorbic acid. You've got to get the one with the bioflavonoids in it. Then you can say it will work. Because the bioflavonoids, I keep telling you and reminding you that it is what brings that vitamin C back around. The ascorbic acid, when it gets to the kidneys, it just flushes out with everything. Whereas if you have ascorbic acid taken with bioflavonoids, the body recognizes those bioflavonoids and vitamin C. It will sit there. This one's lopsided because I had a big piece of lemon in it. The bioflavonoids, it recognizes, that tells the kidneys to start pushing the vitamin C back around a second time, and it keeps on doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I like the way you say put it in the middle. Well, they're all different sizes. I can't help that. Oh, good God. Well, that eyelash hurt. I have some interesting dishes that are going to be coming out. I found some that I just definitely want to make. Don't press down too hard when you go to roll them, because if you do, you're going to mess them up, and that's not what you want to do. Always put seam side down. I'll always tell you that. I found a beautiful cheesecake recipe. It puts every cheesecake to shame. I mean, I've had a lot of cheesecake too. A woman asked me, she said, I want to know where you learned, what do you have? I learned from Julia Child. She was my first teacher. Then my mother, my grandmother, James Beard, he's another chef, but everybody knows Julia Child more. And I learned from my husband's friends from many different countries. They took me into the kitchen. The only one who said, give it up, Sandy, was Wong. I could not get Chinese food down to save my life. But my husband had Middle Eastern, this has to rise now. Had Middle Eastern friends. He had friends from Europe. He had Russian friends. I mean, you name it, my husband had them as friends. And they took me into the kitchen. Ida, took me into her kitchen. She was a German friend, and she was teaching me things as well. That's why I know some things about German food. The only thing I got out of Asian food is you serve in sets of threes. I got that down pat. I'm not real good at chopsticks, but I at least know how they're supposed to order. You have bland, spicy, and hot, and sweet. How's the sweet go? It's spicy and sweet is one dish. Bland is the other. Hot is the other. Yeah, I know the hot one. When they got my mouth on it, I knew it. But they serve in sets of threes. You can't order 4 plates. If you order dishes, you have to order them in 3, and they can't be the same. This is what they taught me. In their country, this is how they always serve. So they have that bland, they have that spicy, and then they have the sweet and sour. So they have those 3 dishes, and the other dish is usually plain rice that they add. And the chopsticks, when you set their table and you have the bowl and the plate, the chopsticks do not go on the left or the right of the plate. They go above the plate, right up there, and the T is to the right. And the handles that you use to hold the chopsticks is on the right side as well. So when you lay the chopsticks, that's how you lay them. Just a little trivia. And you don't sit there with your plate down here and bringing the food up like this. You hold it up and you eat like this. It was interesting. It was a different way I had to learn to eat. And he taught me how to set the table. I got a few things down, but cooking the food, that's out of my ballpark. I'm just cleaning the counter up now while I chat with you. And then we'll read and see how long they have to rise. I know my videos are long, but there's information and stuff for you, not just about the dish that we're making, about other. I spilled that stuff everywhere. I'm still cleaning up. I can't believe it. I'm finding it in other spots. Oh, God. I thought I got it all up yesterday. My great catastrophe in the kitchen. I think we call them bloopers. You didn't see it, but I saw it. I saw it all over the floor, too. God, that was a mess. And they always tell you to clean up after yourself when you're cooking, because you need a clean workspace. That's why you see me constantly cleaning. I don't clean just when I'm done. I'll clean while I'm cooking as well. Okay, let's see how long this has to sit again. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Preheat your oven to 375. They are not going to have a second rising. Okay, they only got that one rising. Now they want, yeah, we filled each square. You call it a square, that was a rectangle. Roll loosely each square over the filling. Yeah, we did that. Place bun seam side down on a greased baking sheet. We did that. Now prepare the topping. For the topping, we want an egg, and we're going to have to chop some almonds. I'll be right back. Okay, you need 2 tablespoons. This measuring cup, which my girlfriend got me, I love. It's perfect, 2 tablespoons. Okay, the egg, we're going to beat that egg. Hold it vertical. Not, this is horizontal, this is vertical. And you tilt the bowl that you're beating it and beat it like this, and as you come around and up, it's going to be egg into it. Mix it up very nicely. See how nice it's beaten? All right, I have to chop these up. No, I'm finding some excellent recipes, and I'm saying, oh my God. Now, I'm trying to set up the YouTube channel, they say, so you can get badges and stuff. But I had to talk to my son, and I said, what in the name of God is a perk? I could not figure what a perk was. It's computer language. I can talk to humans. I just can't talk to a computer. So my son said, all right, Mommy, let me see. And he said, oh, what do you offer you? What do I offer you? If I said that to my parents, you know, they'd say, you've got my time. What more do you want? No, I love sharing recipes and getting to know people. If you want to know what got me started in cooking, was my mother's threat. She sat me down and told me point blank, you are going to listen to Julia Child, and if you don't, you're going to be hit and punished. And I said, okay. So she was my first teacher. I sat down, I watched, and I learned. I learned a lot from her. She was I want to say she was an encyclopedia of knowledge with cooking. She really knew her stuff. The only time I didn't get to see her was when school started. But in the summer, my time was spent with her, teaching me. And then my mother took me into the kitchen where I had more of a foundation, because she had given me such a great foundation in the kitchen. And then the next person who influenced me after I got past my mother and my grandmother was James Beard. I mean, he really took me even further, and then from there, my husband's friends, like I said, they were international friends, so I learned a lot from them as well. And then Adele Davis walked into my world, because I wanted to make food nutritious, but I was trying to make it work, but I was having trouble doing it. So Adele Davis walked into my world. And I thought I knew that her way of cooking, a lot of people will not do, because they're accustomed, the family's accustomed to eating one way, and they're not going to change like overnight. Let me put this on the side. We'll get to it in a minute. We still got the oven going. So she gave me the foundation of dealing with whole grains. A lot of whole grains. And from there, I started experimenting with different grains, and that's what you see today. After all my pitfalls, we're brushing these down with the egg, and then we're going to sprinkle nuts over the nuts that we just chopped, the almonds, over these. So I made a lot of mistakes learning. A lot of dishes went into, boy, what my family went through, from making yogurts, because my mother didn't make yogurts or buttermilk, so I had to learn how to make them, and sour creams and stuff. And my husband bought me all this lovely equipment that you see I've been using. Some of it I haven't even used yet. because he was way ahead of me on some things. But I'll get there. So that is basically it of walking through me learning about nutrition and eating healthy and how to make things work where you get the best nutrition out of the food. Because I had to hit a happy medium, knowing people would not like whole wheat flour, they don't like this, they don't like that. So how could I get people to understand, or how can we make the food more nutritious? So just about every recipe I have, I now know how to pretty much ratio it to make it nutritious, and yet it doesn't interfere with that flavor. But it does have more flavor. And that is my learning of everything that I went through. And it all started with a threat. You will get hit. Okay, I'm listening. I'm all ears. I did not want to be hit. My mother was a hit. Like I told you, she punished my father. And I saw her do it. I was shocked. And he was taller than her. I tell you, if a police officer went up against her, I think she'd knock him out too. You know, that was my philosophy with my mother. I'm just putting a little extra egg on it. Now you take these nuts. I'm just going to sprinkle some nuts on them. Don't have to sprinkle a ton. Just get some nuts on them. That's why you brush with the egg, so it will hold. This egg is a binder. Did I go to culinary school? No. No, I didn't. And unless you go to culinary school and get your degree, you're not a chef. That's why people who say they're a chef, unless you go to that school, those people work very hard to learn what they learn. So I have a great deal of respect for them. Oh, come on. In the oven because they are not rising except in the oven. And they want us to cook them for 10 minutes. Well, I have my finger marks all over that. I can't see them. Oh, okay, alright, that's too tacky. So I will see you in 10 minutes. They're not quite done, so they're going to stay a few more minutes. Okay, they are done. Here is the almond buns. I just took them out of the oven. They're too hot to hold up. All right. So listen, you have a great day and enjoy it. Bye-bye.